Well, welcome to the Idle Reload. So as you've already seen that we're going to be getting into the Noveske QD cup installation. And I'm particularly on this video going to be installing it in the Beretta A300 Patrol. This method will work with several different shotguns or otherwise they have a hollow stock. This particular one, I'm installing it in my Beretta A300 Patrol. I've actually already installed this in my Mossberg 940 Pro. And so that's a little bit of a different animal, and I'll kind of add some of that into this video also because there is some obstacles inside the stock that you'll have to get over. And anyways, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. Let's go ahead and get into the desktop view here. And these are some of the tools that you're going to need. Is obviously you're going to need the QD cup. And the reason why I should actually have another tool here that I don't have here, and I'm going to explain that here for a moment for a reason. So I have this out here to show you guys on these Noveskes. Well, first, before I get in that, you are going to need a wire brush, okay? So I'm going to say that. I don't have that sitting here. I should have. You are going to need a pencil to mark where you're going to install the QD. I've already marked mine. I don't know if that's going to be the final position or not. We're not going to know until we open this up because there's some obstacles in there. So we'll have to see if that's going to be a good fit or not, or if I'm going to have to relocate that or not. I kind of done that to match where I have that position on other firearms already. You are going to need a QD swivel. Okay. So the QD swivel is actually going to be basically your tool to screw this on. Okay. So on this particular Noveske cup here, this actually has on the other end is a nut. And if I don't know if you can see that here, let me see if I can get in here. Oops, see if it focuses. You see those corners there have some points right there. So those are going to dig into the stock. And then so you got the wrench here which is going to hold on to the nut inside the stock. You use the QD cup as a tool to tighten it on there, because once these points get into the stock and start digging in, you don't want to move this nut at all, because then there's no point of having those grabbing points. So you're going to need that. Then obviously the wrench for that also. I got a punch to be able to punch where we're going to drill. So you're going to need a drill, which is right here, and a 1/2-inch drill bit, and then screwdriver to undo your butt pad, and then oil right there to dab where the screws go in for you don't tear up the rubber in your butt pad. Okay. So now to go back to where I started is the reason why I brought this in. So my first experience with the Noveske QD cups is when I did it in my 940 Patrol. Not my Patrol. Sorry, confusing shotguns now. My 940 Pro Tactical. So if you notice here, sorry, see, even with that, that's really on there. So if you look here, come on, focus. See if I can get it to focus. There we go. So they really, I don't know if this was a particular batch that they did or not, but they really, and this is like the really like permanent type Loctite on there. And that's really oozed in there. If you even look at those threads, the threads right there are almost like covered. So you're going to want to, sorry, I want to give some disclaimers so you guys don't have any issues going forward. And so I want to stop it right here. So that's the reason I'm going over this first before the install. So here, if you noticed, this is where the wire brush came in. It kind of discolored. If you notice there, oops, come on. I scraped a bunch of it away. Okay. Now the reason I did that is actually, I'm just going to show you. Okay, and there's going to be a couple of things. So first, I'm going to show you a video where I kind of ended things with this and was very very frustrated, to put it the least. But this is when I was installing it. I had a video that I was going to do installing this on the 940, but this cup became such a nightmare that I abandoned it. But here's a snippet of that. Oh, if it, oh, there we go. And you're going to notice on the swivel, I know that bad camera view, I was like having 3 ings. I was struggling with the camera, but you'll notice that on the swivel part where I'm having to use the leverage with the screwdriver on that swivel.
Too much damn Loctite, you guys.
So that was part of it, is that I broke, was it 2 or 3 of these? I can't recall. It's a few years ago. So one where I was having to do so much leverage, I broke the swivel part off of here. Other one where it stripped out the balls, and these were good QD ones. This particular one, just because of that bad experience, I'm using a cheap one because I damaged a lot of good ones. And the only reason I have these 2 right here is because when I told them, which I'm going to go ahead and bring that in right here, this is what happened. I had to put so much leverage to try to get that tightened on there. If you see in that picture there, because it's like pot metal that they did, and it caused it. This is me trying to take it back off because I couldn't get it tightened up all the way. It just broke everything and started breaking all in pieces. So as you see there, so that's so this is what I'm trying to prevent with you guys. They put too much Loctite on there. So I don't know if these 2 are the same batch as that original, but I didn't want to run into that problem again. So when I got my new, because I called them and they sent out a new one, and in hindsight, I was like, listen, you guys put so much Loctite that I broke like 3 of these QD swivels that aren't cheap, if you guys could replace them. And the kid on the phone must have misunderstood me, and they sent me out 2 more of these QD cups. So anyway, so that's the only reason I have these. I don't know if I might have considered going with a different maker. I think Grove Tech, I think, makes a similar thing, and theirs is probably actually a little bit easier because they have inside, they have an Allen wrench where you can use on there. So if Noveske did the same thing with this one, I don't think this would have became well, it may have, because of this is, at least the edge here is kind of like a pot metal, or anyway, not pot metal, but whatever you call that. Anyways, if they actually had that in there and it wasn't to be done by the swivel itself, may have been different. The only thing I don't like about the Grove Tech ones is it's not a flush thing. It's a little bit raised. It's a curved raise type thing. So take this video not particularly for Noveske itself. These disclaimers are because, but basically the same install. Well, I take that back. With the Grove Tech, you after you drill, you have to tap it too. You don't have to do that with this. So take that for what it is. So the biggest disclaimer, I don't know because I've seen other videos where people installed these and they kind of just went in. So I don't know if this was this particular batch, but if you noticed on that video on how much leverage I was having to use to get it to go past all this, where the other one, all the Loctite that they put on there, it was horrible. So, the one thing that I did want to point out to you guys why I'm at it before I get into the install on this one. Maybe I'll do that later here. I had a picture to show you guys for inside for the 940 Pro, because on the 940 Pro they have ridges in there, and with those ridges, I'll show you here. So if you notice right here below that wrench there, you see those ridges. You have to cut away those ridges for the nut to go in there. So so that's something that you're gonna have to do. Is I would use a chisel and take it down and knock out those ridges as far down as you're going to be installing that, and get those ridges out of the way, or else it's going to impede your install and you're not going to be able to get those points inside. So that's kind of a visual right there inside there, because you see there's those ridges right there. So that's a tip right there for the 940. Okay. So with that said, let's get into this. So first we're going to go ahead and I'm going to take the I already put some oil on there, as you can see. We're going to take the screws out here on the cap here. I'll do this a little bit off the screen. Okay, got that butt pad off. So a couple things to note here. So let me get this in view here. So you will see right there. So this insert right, because I can't take this out without taking the, I don't know if the angle right here is, oh, there we go. I think you can see that. So you can see this spacer right there. Oh, there we go. So without removing the nut right there. So it's going to be a tight space. So the one thing to note on here, after analyzing, because I hadn't taken this stock off until I was changing and messing with the cast and all that with it. So one thing to note is once this is installed, this, even after you take that nut off right there, you won't be able to pull this out. This would have to be done. So basically, don't do any of this until you have your stock where you need it to be, basically. Okay. So from looking at it and analyzing, actually, I think my mark is just perfect, just for the sake, because it's so tight where it looks like the nut will have clearance there. I think I'm going to scoot it just a little down, just a little bit. So I'm going to do this. I am going, let me get some of these out of the way here. I don't need. All right. So I'm going to take the punch here, and I'm just going to go just, oops, actually this wrong direction, just to the inside where I originally had it set at. Sorry guys, it's probably loud, huh? Oops. All right, now we got that. Now we're going to go ahead and drill into it. Spot is hey, don't. All right, and then now I have a deburring tool that I'm going to use. If you don't have one of these, you can just use a knife, just to make sure these edges are cleaned up there. That way we make sure that we are getting a complete flush. And then, oops. Put that in. Oh, there it is. So it is a tight fit there. Come on. Don't remember it being so. Maybe it's the curvature. I don't remember it. Make sure I grabbed the right one. No, I grabbed the wrong one. Jeez. That would turn into. Got the one with too much Loctite on there. That might be actually too. Why it's not going straight in. All right. That's going in there easier. Okay. Guess it helps if I'm locked in. Actually, that's why. There we go. All right. We're going to be able to go about halfway point on there, because you're going to want to see there. Actually, you know what? I need to clean up some more of those burrs real quick. So a lot of this is difficult doing around camera. So sorry, you guys. So kind of what I did here, because there was some in the inside that it was from drilling in, was the plastic was pushed down. I actually didn't have that just must be a different plastic than on the Mossberg. Anyway, so I took my burring to like at an edge right there to really get inside, to get the bottom edge of that is what I did to get around to get that all knocked off under there, or else that would have started impeding on this. So let's get this put back in. So you're gonna want to, like again, what I said, you're gonna want to get this about probably halfway. Because we're not going to, once we get these points right there, because once we get this nutted on and we get it on the base right there, because we want these points dug into the plastic. So if you let this spin, then that turns pointless. And then it's freewheeling in there. So I am just going to screw this in enough to get this started. And so I'm gonna, sorry you guys, oops, just dropped it in there. There we go. So sorry you guys, I'm gonna have to actually, let's do this. I can switch camera view here. Might be easier for you guys because the stuff that I'm doing off the camera might be easier. So as you guys know, if you don't remember from earlier in the video, the reason it's difficult, I'm working with this small little hole right here, so that I can fit about 2 fingers in there, and being able to line that up. So bear with me. So some of it's kind of a balance. So I'm going, there we go. I think I might, sorry you guys, I had to. Oh, all right. So basically all I did was take it and set it right onto the QD cup right below, and I'm holding it in place with my finger as I am Actually, let me switch back to the other view here. That way I might be able to see more what I'm doing now that I pulled it off the screen. So, so I am just holding it there with my finger until once it twists. Oops. Oh, I guess I wasn't on it. I thought I was on it, straightened up all the way. So unfortunately here, it looks like I may have to pause this and cut back in to doing this because it looks like there may be still too much Loctite on there. So with this small, did you hear that? So with this cheap QD, the balls are skipping in there. It's too much torque for this. Even though, as you can tell right there, it's spinning freely. It's locked in. It's moving the QD in there and everything. It's just once it gets that tension right there, it's breaking free. So then you get some more of that thread locker off of there. I wish they did even put on there and they just included thread locker would be a way better solution. Who knows? They may have changed this yet. I've gotten these a few years ago, so it may be different now. So we'll go ahead and cut back in after I remove some more of that thread locker. Okay, so I am going to show you. Now I'm done with that. So just goes to show how much overkill that the Loctite is that they put on there. You know what? For Noveske supposedly being such a high-end company that, one, I am very disappointed in this, honestly. I'm just going to tell you guys, one thing you guys learn about this channel, I just tell you how it is as I'm doing it. Actually, the only reason I'm using this one for this time is because it is truly flush mount and I already have it. But take that for what it is. So if you look here, oops, let it focus. So I took my Dremel and with a brass wire wheel to knock more of that down. And you could tell just by that little bit that's still stuck in those grooves right there, still gives quite a bit of resistance as I'm screwing this on. So it just goes to show how overkill that was. So right when I get right there, that's where I start getting resistance. So there, I have to try a little harder. See, I'm having to really have to put some force, in there to get past that Loctite right there. So just goes to show how overkill it was and why it's easy to break this. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because it seems like that. There's not many. I think there's only a couple of others with this particular brand out there that put them on there, or they just didn't share the headaches with you guys. So that's always a possibility. Or it was just this particular batch during that time that I bought that the permanent Loctite was on their overkill on that particular batch. That's always a possibility. So take that what it is. So you can tell, obviously, I had to get it down to this to keep from breaking anything, meaning the equipment and everything else. So this is actually, I found this one because I was like, well, maybe I gave it a benefit of the doubt that this socket, since it being a cheap one, was just given away too easily instead. So I tried this one. This has got markings on it and stuff. This is a QD that I used to get the old one off that I was having. These are all plier marks and everything to get it twisted. So anyways, I digress. Let me find the, so if you look there and then you look there, look how caked on that is. For this being permanent Loctite, keep in mind. You can barely, where that Loctite is, you can barely see the threads. Those threads are so flooded with that Loctite. So anyways, and with this being the type of metal that will, these lips will start breaking and everything. So anyways, I digress. So let's get back to getting this installed. So now we got that hiccup out of the way. Let's get this fed back in here. I could. Well, I think this is enough permanent Loctite. I was going to say I can put some, if you guys would feel more comfortable doing that, take some red Loctite and add that onto the threads if you feel like you knocked too much off. Oops. Make sure okay. Sorry, I was feeling make sure there's points on their side that I had it orientated the right direction. I was like, that would be horrible. Start getting on there. All right, so now. All right. Ouch. Okay. So now I got too much resistance there now so far. So now, sorry, I got to go off screen here real quick, you guys, to get this wrench on here. Bear with me here. Actually, I'm just going to switch you guys to this view here so you guys can see. This is an easier orientation for me to do this. Let me actually face you guys. So I'm just holding this nut inside of here and twisting the QD. I'm going to do that. Okay. I'm going to take a peek in there with my flashlight. Oh, that's it. Looks like I got the points all dug into the plastic right there. So see, and that's another reason that they don't need to have so much Loctite is that they got the points of the nut that go into the plastic on top of it all too. So it's like, geez. So it's so actually it might be easier for you guys to see with the top down view. So there's that. You got the QD pocket there. So this here, I just use the cheap one right there. Put that in there, so it doesn't really have any. Got when is that like what do they call it? It's called. They're not. It's not complete lockout, but it's anyway. It's that other one. It has a little bit of swivel to it. But anyway, so you got that, and then get that off. See if you can guys get a view. Oh, there you go. So if you see the nut right there, so and you see those points are dug into the plastic right there. And from this view, you may not be able to tell, but it's right on that ledge right there. I barely had enough room. And you can't tell from the top down version. So I just have just enough room down there. So anyways, switch back over here and we will put the butt pad on. So if that's all that you guys are here for is to see that, is that you can just go ahead and click off now, and we'll that's basically this. You don't necessarily need to see the rest of the butt plate being put on. There we go. Okay. But yeah, so depends on what I guess if you went the Grove Tech, I believe it's Grove Tech route. Sorry, I'm just wanting to there we go. All right. You went the Grove Tech route. I think it's got such a minute roundness to it. I don't think it would be that noticeable or not. It seems like the Grove Tech would be easier, honestly. I mean, from what I seen, because I was I'm out looking for solutions for different type of products, not for chuggers, not for this type of thing, not ones, because GroveTech's got ones that are like thread inserts, because I was thinking of doing a thread insert into the Magbull SGA stocks instead, because I don't like them being free wheel. It's how you get tangled in slings and stuff, and I don't like that. So, because I have a cup that I bought from Magbull, and I was very disappointed when it was spun freely, and I just end up strapping it regularly on the manual strap, so I don't even use the QD on it at all. So that was disappointing. So I found out that with the GroveTech's thread in ones, they're non-rotating, or they call it the not completely non-rotating, but like hybrid's got like a quarter swivel or something. Well, that you can thread those just in there, and you can just thread it in there and add some epoxy along with it if you wanted to. But yeah, so that's it. Butt pads on. QD. It's all ready to go and be strapped up. So hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope that you got something out of it. There was a lot to throw into this video. I know it wasn't just a blatant how-to here. But I wanted to give you guys some disclaimers, especially the experience that I had. I'm sorry, for some reason I thought that I had my Mossberg sitting over here. But my experience that I had with the Mossberg 940, I wanted to share that, and it just went to show with me doing this, even when I thought that I got enough of the Loctite off, that I didn't. So that is a big obstacle, because if you remember from that picture, I will give you guys a reminder of that you'll break it up. And so, whoops, wrong. Sorry, guys. Anyways, so I digress. But with that, you guys, I hope you got value out of this. If you did, give me a like, give me a subscribe. You guys, like it. Gun channels have a hard enough time on YouTube here, and especially being a new channel, I really want to get to 500 subscribers, you guys. So if you wouldn't mind subscribing if you got value out of this, and you want to try propel me a little bit more forward for I can get more content to you guys. But again, you guys, I thank you. Thanks for watching, and God bless you guys. And until the next video, I'll see you next time.